How's it going?
Hey, Josh.
Well, how's the week so far?
It has been great, man. It's Wednesday already, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah. I've
How
got
about you?
it's weird week. So Monday was, Tuesday. Yesterday was very much felt like a Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow I've got another day of work. Well, actually, tomorrow morning I'm going to pick up a U-Haul, and I'm moving my daughter across country from. We're going to drive from Orlando to Colorado Springs. So
Oh my
she's
gosh.
going to be a substitute teacher while she finishes up her degree, and then heads and then teaching. She
Nice.
hoping to be a high school art teacher.
Oh, cool. My wife's a teacher, but she teaches kindergarten, so that's a whole nother world.
Oh.
That's
Now,
why
did she
she
ever
married
use her
me.
kindergarten teacher voice?
Oh, yes. That's how I was able to acquire a wife. I think like your students, put it that way.
She knows how to work with the likes of you.
Yes, yes. It's natural. It's a natural transition. Anyway, so
Remind me where you live again.
I'm in Fort
Hi,
Lauderdale.
Teresa. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. And you?
Good, good. Sorry, Bob. Hey,
I'm
Tyler.
in
How
Fort-
are you?
I'm
Hey.
in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, just down the road.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
looking.
too far from you.
Yeah, right, right. I am looking forward to some fall temperatures.
Oh boy, it'll be nice to cool off a little bit. It was
Oh,
hot today. I don't know what it is by you, but it's like
yeah,
man, it must be 95 degrees here today. So
yeah. Now 88. So
it's
kind of
probably humid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Always ridiculous. So Tyler, how are the launches going?
Good. Yeah, our funnels, we're getting all the kinks worked out, and people are loving it. Like the book is really changing people's lives, and we're getting a lot of calls from it. So it's been good.
Good. When you say like getting the kinks worked out of the funnel and stuff, I know you have a lot of experience with, kind of setting up sales funnels and so forth. Like what are you sending paid traffic to it yet?
Yeah, we are starting supposedly yesterday. So I got to double check, but I think we are sending paid traffic now. So
That's great. Do you start off with like the $10 a day thing to kind of get it dialed in? And
yeah, we have an ads guy we just pay, and he just
Yeah.
does his thing and it works. So
sounds great.
I don't ask too many questions. I'm just like, as long as it converts, well, that's what we want.
Yeah, right. Good deal. So Robert, welcome. Karabo, welcome. Rich,
Yeah.
Samir, Ken. Well, that's Ken's note taker. Chris, hey, how are you, Chris?
Doing good.
Chris, you're down the road from Tyler. I think you guys are both in Utah.
Yeah, I'm in
Where you at, Tyler?
Urda, Utah by Twilla.
Oh, you're out.
Okay.
You're out in the other valley.
You're out. Yeah, you're out in like almost nowhere land.
Nah, Tooele's a bigger town now.
It's a big, but I don't know how far out that is. I got
Yeah,
family
Urda's
out.
right before there.
Hmm.
So we're right before.
Yeah, I
the-
got family out in Vernal, and that's really out in nowhere.
Yeah, Vernal's crazy.
Catherine, welcome. Jeff, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Well,
Yourself?
hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, terrific. Good. And Amy's up the road from us, Bob. Amy, where are you again?
Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville Beach. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Jackson.
Nice.
Yep. Got the Floridians representing.
Ooh.
Me
All right,
too.
good. Oh, and Jeff. Yep. Jeff, are you down the other coast or what?
I'm on Tampa Bay.
Oh, you're in
Uh-huh.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Good deal. Welcome, Nico. And we're going to get started officially kind of. So I'm just kind of doing a few more highs for the next couple minutes. And then we're going to get into some meat here. So today I really want to focus on delegation systems, total like E-Myth stuff, like how I can make sure that, as founders or directors, of growth, that's et cetera, that you're protecting your time, because sales in a one-on-one environment can be very, very, very time consuming, especially, if you talk with more than a few a week. It can definitely become a full-time job for sure. And so we're going to talk about like different ways that we can kind of slice and dice responsibilities. And I'll go through like all of our time-saving stuff and, how I delegate activity to, let's say 3 or 4 other people. So it takes a village. Let's say who else popped in? Kate, Kevin, welcome. Nico, welcome. All right. Nico always offering tons of value in the chat window. So
Or distraction.
yeah. Nico, I met a mutual friend last week, I think. And so I'll look him up and I'll message you about who that was. It was either a podcast guest or someone we got connected, but I mentioned your name because they were talking about solar. I'm like, well, do you know Nico Johnson? And yes, I do. So yeah, that your name is the name I drop whenever solar comes into the conversation. Good deal. Welcome, Roman.
Hey, Josh, what's up?
Hey. All right. And let's see, Carol joining in. Anybody else have any, got about 1.5 more minutes before we kind of get into the meat of things. Anybody have any big announcements going on, either business or personal?
Yes. Hi.
Carol, welcome.
Sorry. I apologize for being late. Yeah, I just had my ghostwriter out here for 4 long days. So I'm going to have a published book in January.
Wow.
And my website is under major construction and all that good stuff. And I've got about 3 months of my podcasts that have gone live now, and some really great ones in the background, and some interesting financial things hopefully coming up in the next 2 or 3 months. So we'll see.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, excited.
Good deal. And then let's see who else saw. Johnny Franchise just popped in from Minneapolis.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Hey, I had a great week. Last week I was in Las Vegas at the multi-unit franchise conference. It's about 1,000 people there from all over the place. And
Oh my goodness.
full blast, high energy. It was good to be back in circulation.
Yeah. How was the city in terms of open for business?
I would say it was open. Things were not real busy. People had to wear masks, which was no big deal. Masks indoors, I guess. But it wasn't crowded, but it wasn't empty. I would say it was good for Vegas. For as much as I hate going there, it was fun to be there. I loved it.
Sounds like you hit the sweet spot there, I think. So not too crazy busy, but you want some activity there. That's great.
It was fun. And
All
people who were there wanted to be there. And I would say, people are back to business.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. Susan, welcome. And how are you?
I'm all right.
All right, good deal. All right, last welcome, and then everyone else is going to have to slip in silently through the side door where the curtain is raising here. So, Mike, welcome.
Hey, Josh, great to see you. How are you doing?
Yes, for sure. All right, so what I really want to focus on, again, in our work, we get kind of a unique vantage point where we get to see. We get to see how the not just how we make our own sausage, but in conversing with each of you, kind of get a feel for how activity it goes. And I realize I love when I realize that there's stuff that maybe we do that I'm like, oh man, I don't think I've taught on that enough. And one thing that I think could use a lot of reinforcing is, again, we're all kind of in that same position where either, with your company, you're responsible for growth or you're the founder CEO. So, if you haven't dusted off and, reread or listen to audio version or just, listen to, a podcast interview with Michael Gerber. eMyth has been around forever. Basic 10. Actually, let me have somebody else give us just a quick little, like a 3-minute book report. Even 1 minute's fine, about the basic tenets of the eMyth. Who wants to go? Otherwise, I'm going to pick somebody. Okay, Johnny Franchise, you're the man to talk about that. You're a
Well,
systems guy.
Yeah, the whole thing is, you can be a technician doing the work, or you can be the one who owns the business with other people doing the work. You can't delegate what you can't let go of. And so to let go of something properly, you need to have some expectations and standards. So the general premise is build your systems so you can scale and make it easy to give for somebody else who can do the low value or low requirements, if you will. So you can stay focused on the higher value, higher purpose. Being the owner is the biggest opportunity, but it only really works if you leverage what you have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So what about the objection? And I'll throw this one. Let's see we'll give it to Jeff Brandeis. Jeff, what about the objection that, hey, wait a minute, I don't want to delegate it to this person. They can't, if I can just do it myself and I can do it faster than what it's going to take them, and I can do it better than what I could delegate to somebody else as well. Why should you still delegate it to somebody else? I know you're the man, you're the woman, you got it. Like, you're really good at, especially when we talk about sales, right? Is, one thing, particularly to the founders here in the room, is you have what's called founder magic. I'll explain a little bit more about that and energy and how we transfer energy in a moment. But Jeff, can you help me out with that objection?
I think, if you have people working for you, you have to be able to guide them, coach them, and develop them. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to give them tasks that, you could do it at times, but at the end of the day, is that really the best use of your time? What's going to move the business along and be able to, and what's going to make the people grow? And that's a part of an owner, is to develop your people. So, and you can lean on them so that they feel like they're part of the organization. Because right now, what we're seeing elsewhere is what I call the great resignation, is people who don't feel appreciative, they don't feel coaching, they are leaving to go elsewhere. So if you don't develop your talent, they're going to look for that development elsewhere.
Yeah. Any tips on transferring power, or how do you get someone who is brand new at a task? How do you help them to become competent? Does anybody have any ideas on that? Like ways that you can, yes, you have been doing this thing historically, but you need to hand it off the reins. Hand off the reins. Carol Schultz, our equestrian fanatic.
Generally, the way I like to do it is, really, I'll go over, here's how I do it. Here's how I'm deciding who to send podcast requests to, because I'm using Zoom Info. I've been using it for quite a while now and have had an unbelievable response. That's why I rewrote all the emails that came to me from your team that are going to start emailing. Mm-hmm. And, but typically what I'll do is, because that's a task I'm afraid to give away, is, so, I find somebody who's a founder and CEO, and then I look very briefly, what does the company do? And I walk through why this is probably a fit for somebody I'd like to request to be on the podcast. And then I let them sit at the desk and say, you go through them now and let me watch your way of thinking, how you're doing it. I mean, I think, learning by doing, and, like what was it? The Socratic method, right? Learning by doing. But with me sitting there, over their shoulder initially, just kind of mentoring, why did you choose this person? Why do you think that's a good fit to send that email to, et cetera? Because that's the biggest problem that I find with LinkedIn, for example, or any emails, is the spam people send out. I get stuff that I'm like, why are you sending me this? This isn't part of my business. That's not part of my business. Why are you even reaching out to me? And it's because they have incompetent people doing it. Or they're just too cheap to spend the money with somebody here in the United States, or somebody who's good at speaking English. They just like, well, I'll just hire somebody from India or the Philippines because it's really cheap. And then I think you've got an issue of penny wise and pound foolish under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Carol.
I was just going to say that's exactly why, I would not hire an Indian firm to do my web development on my new website. I've got an American firm doing all the story brand and stuff like that and the design. And the guy I'm working with is in Poland. His English is immaculate. I mean, it's magnificent. He's got a little bit of an accent, but you can barely tell. He's smart. I mean, he's a whole lot more expensive at $23 an hour, but he's a whole lot cheaper than somebody in the United States. And he's going to get the job done better and more effectively because of the way we can communicate than somebody would in India that thick accents, they may not understand, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And just not to be insensitive, but understand that in sales, there is absolutely an impact to, communicative ability and so forth. So, but yes, Carol, thank you so much. That's great. Any other things, just in terms of transference of skills that works for you, or maybe a principle that you've applied in your business that's worked out really well? Yeah, Mike.
Hey, Josh. So I have recently become really fixated on this idea of psychological safety. To say to somebody, I really believe in your potential, and here's why you really belong in our firm. And I'd like to explore you taking on this new role or skill set because I think you could do it really well. But I want to find out from you how you would like to work with me and how I can just help you get up to speed. But here's the difference it would make for you and for our team and for our firm. So I really see a long-term future with you. So these elements of I see potential in you. Here's the difference it could make for us and for you. I'd like to co-create the kind of way we would work together. And I see a long-term future. Those elements, according to the research at least, are the most powerful ways of getting somebody set up, if you like, more emotionally invested in the idea of taking on that role or that skill set.
Yeah, excellent. I heard, I was interviewing a guest and she talked about her process in being I do, we do, you do. And knowing that those are not, well, except for I do, when the we do, you do is there's a bit of a flow there, right? It's kind of like, trusting your kid that they're going to be able to ride their bike. As soon as you don't just like whiz them down the road and good luck, kid, because they're, you kind of, you run with them, and then you run with them less and less and less. And then you realize, well, okay, they finally got it. So it's a bit of a process. So I do like the, in the, going from we do to you do, a bit of the perestroika, trust but verify. I am very sensitive to, particularly when we're talking about, and Carol, I think you brought this up very well, is that you're hiring somebody that ultimately is kind of they're representing your brand. And so, I'd say for those very customer facing roles, it's very important that that they're going to do they're going to be very fairly adept at that. They're going to get your culture and so forth in terms of like your company culture. Yeah, look at that. Speaking of culture, the culture code by Dan Coyle. All right, for building great companies. All right. Now, what I want to kind of talk about very specifically now is some ideas on ways that you can start parceling out certain things. And I think it begins with an inventory. And this is a good exercise. And I can kind of tell you what we've come to. What are the things, and this is a great question, what are the things that only you can do in your company? Like there's no way you can replace that with current technology and AI at the level it is right now. Right, there may be a day when we could just do a brain transfer and you have robot Susan doing her thing, but that's a ways off. Okay, so so what are the things that only you could do? So what are in our company? I have to be on a live call. I mean, that's me. My name is on the side of the building, et cetera. If I'm talking with a founder of another company, I want to show them the respect of, being there for them. When we, and just, again, learn from my mistakes, when we tried outsourcing that, both even having a pre-interview and having somebody else that was assigned to do the podcast interview, you can do it. But what we discovered is the kind of delegating out those roles, the person to person, human to human at that stage in the relationship, it was too early and it ended up being a net negative. So I won't say a failed test, but it was a test where we learned from that. So that's one. So live calls, it's got to be me. Live podcast interviews, we've determined that really needs to be me. The cost is too significant to delegate that at this point. It's not that that's the way it's going to be forever, but for right now, that's where we're at. Next would be sending personal video emails. Now, somebody can absolutely, if we're talking text, you can absolutely delegate that. And I'll talk about how we do that in just a moment. So writing a text email, someone can absolutely do that as you, and you can come up with ways that you can kind of pass that off. But recording, the reason I love, and I don't need to, start evangelizing about sending video emails again, but I am, is that it's very personal. Communication is mostly energy and how you say what you say and the nonverbal, et cetera. So I want to communicate as fully as possible with this potential customer, partner, guest, et cetera. So that's why I'm a big fan of, kind of sending those out. So there's a number of platforms, BombBomb, SendSpark, Warm Market. There's a bunch. You Google Buongiorno. If anybody else knows of any other ones that you love, you're welcome to put that in the chat window. But I'm a huge fan of that. That needs to be me. Now, here's a major, major hack. And I've shared this before. And I think I talk about this in my, kind of how to BombBomb video. But what I do, one thing that I was noticing is that, let's say I would have 8 sales meetings in a day. Writing and recording 8 videos and writing 8 emails doesn't sound like a lot, but it was about another hour of my time. Now, the unfortunate thing is when you're running a company and you're looking at an hour, especially when it's at the end of the day and you're like, I just need a break, right? Especially after, a lot of meetings. So what are some clever ways that you can kind of, start creating virtual version of yourself to do that work? So what we kind of came up with is that I record my BombBomb videos and I am sending a message. Hey, Lily, it was great having you on the call today. Listen, ... I'm going to, and then I start listing off all of the things that I've included in the email. I list off all the things in terms of next steps. I list off hopes, whatever, right? And so I'm communicating to Lily, but I'm also communicating to, in that case, Elisa. So what Elisa does is as soon as I get done recording all my BombBombs, I update our sales marketing channel and I tag Elisa. I say, add Elisa, BB's done, right? And then I go walk the dog. And what Elisa does then is she watches all the videos, all right? And then she writes, and we've got a number of different templates, number of little blips of, little clips of text and stuff. And she compiles them all. So what that did is that just saved me 30, maybe 45 minutes of writing stuff that I don't have to do now. On a really busy sales day, I will take every 30 minutes I could possibly get. Honestly, 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 30 minutes there, it really adds up. And what we want to do is every time, I like this advice too. You told us, if you try to go back to, Nico, I have both. I have, you asked about SendSpark versus, don't let me forget what I was just talking about. because I was getting ready to make a big point. We have both SendSpark and BombBomb. BombBomb I've just always had. We have a gazillion videos. I actually just crossed the 4,000 video level with BombBomb. And so we've just got them everywhere. I'm going to be a customer for life. If you can get a deal on any of them, get it. Just get in, just start using it, especially if you can find like a lifetime deal on like AppSumo or something like that, which is how we got the SendSpark. So, all right. Yeah, this is why I don't read chats while I'm coaching. I know I'm terrible at that. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So anytime I can, if you could, so one thing that you want to do, right, is any task that you find yourself doing in a day, say, do I have to do that? Or could I train somebody else to do that? Yes, it might take a month or two for them to get competent at that or as good as that as me. But the less that you have to do, the better, right? So that ultimately we can get to a point where you show up, you hit your mark, and the magic just happens. Like imagine, I don't know if any of you are to the level with social media where you've got a glam squad that follows you around. But that's kind of my dream, right? And we've kind of toyed with varying levels of that, where it's just like, hey, I'm just going to go, you tell me what to say. You have a director, like everybody just feed me exactly what I need to talk about. They ask me a question. I record, they film it and whatever. They do all the, we have the posts and stuff all created, but that's what you want. You want your glam squad everywhere kind of following you around. And in this case, you want your sales glam squad. So first, if we're talking about the journey right now, is that Elisa sends the emails. I record the BombBombs. Now, here's the other advantage of me recording a BombBomb. Not only does Elisa watch the BombBomb, but Jenny and Marie also watch my BombBombs. So I'm talking to the guest. I'm also talking to Elisa. I'm in my mind, I'm thinking I need to convey everything that I need everybody to know about this relationship in a one-to-one language style. So you get good at that and you remember, like, sometimes I'll like edit myself if I'm saying something. I'm like, the guest is probably like, I don't know why he said that like that, whatever. It's so everybody can get the communication at the same time. All right. So while that's happening, I also use a little bit of automation. Right. And this is a little technical. So I am going to defer or I'm going to refer you to the video where I talk about, what is that social media automation tool? I'll have to look it up while I'm talking. Can't think of it right now. But essentially what it does is every time a guest fills out a schedule form and I have a Zapier that goes and it loads it into, I can't think of the tool. And what it does is it'll automatically go out and engage with them on social media. It'll like their posts, it'll follow them, it'll endorse them on LinkedIn, it'll make sure we're connected. So that's why on the podcast schedule forms, I ask for the direct URL for their social media profile. It's so that I can get that into the tool that I can't remember the name of right now. I'm so close to remembering. It's on the tip of my tongue. Our favorites. So let me show you our favorite sales tools where you can find this. Our favorite sales tools. It's not this. It's not this. Not that. BombBomb Zap. Your Phantom Buster. This is it. So Phantom Buster, I want to say is like starts at like $20 a month or something like that. And it's a little geeky. So this it's a longer video. So if you want to geek out on it, what this will do is everybody coming in, it will engage with your guests automatically on your behalf. So I wouldn't have it do anything too personal sounding because then it would start to sound fake. And again, I go through best practices in that video on how to do that. So that's something I don't have to do. A lot of times when I'm on a call with a guest and I go and I engage with them. I ask them a question and I'm kind of listening in one ear. And meanwhile, I'm pulling up all their social media profiles and I'm just liking their stuff. I'm like commenting, very simple things. A lot of times I'll go and look at it and Phantom Buster's already engaged on my behalf. So it's kind of cool because what we want to do again in sales is we want to stack positive associations. And that's a great way because they may see it this week. They might see it a couple of weeks from now. And that's, there's that Josh. Josh is a nice guy. He's sharing my posts, liking my posts, commenting on my posts, that sort of stuff. All right. So that's another area you can delegate to automation. Can I pause right here? In the sales process, are there any other areas that you have been successful in delegating to automation in an authentic way? And I'm going to get to sales cadence type stuff because I am really careful about that because I don't want automation to fall into the arena of sounding fake and artificial and automated, because I think that's where you start to degrade the relationship when someone feels like they're being automated. Has anybody else come up with any other clever ways of automating touches in kind of a friendly friend building kind of way? Or I could pause right here if anybody has a question on BombBomb video. Yes, Tyler.
Yeah, so I'm kind of new to all this, but so what's the difference like just doing a Loom or a Zoom versus like BombBomb? Like I'm totally ignorant on that subject.
Yeah. Great question. So Loom is generally what I generally see Looms for would be recording my screen. Now you can do the same thing in BombBomb as well. Like if I want to so one thing that I will do, for example, is, and I'm a big fan of, do you have, and here's an assignment if you don't, do you have a visual representation of what it is to work with you? I don't know what that is. If it's a diagram, it's a flow chart, something beautiful. Let's see, I just had our resident designer on and now she's gone. I don't see it anymore. I've got, so if someone needs a designer, we've got connections. Yeah, so BombBomb, generally, it's just me, full screen, you see my face. The reason I like that, and there's actually, let's see, what's his name? Newsjacking guy, wrote a book, really good, really about video. So the distance that all of us are right now, as I'm looking at everyone's video, is great. So there's like the kind of the degrees of intimacy in terms of video. If I'm sending a video and it's me going through a walkthrough, that's great if you need to do that. If I don't need to do that, I would just assume them see my video full on, because what I've learned is that when you send a video and you're way back here, it's not very intimate. And so it ends up, it's not in the friend zone. And so it's kind of in the stranger zone. And so what you want to do is when you're communicating by video in the friend zone is kind of, again, what you look at all of us, we're all in the friend zone right there. And that's ideal. If you're too close, then you're in the intimate zone, and that's just creepy. Unless you're sending, I love you videos or something like that to your loved ones or something like that. It's too much. So a point in, why I would send a video like this is the more of me they can see, it helps with the relationship build. So but generally the same idea. You're sending a video message to them. And what you want, very important, is the email needs to have an animated GIF or GIF for you people that refuse to say it correctly. No, I'm joking. Is with a play button. It says that, play 1 minute video. It's got me. I'm I'm talking. I'm holding up a sign that I've handwritten their name on. Best practice. I tested a lot of variations on that. it's absolutely a slam dunk.
So do you do all that through BombBomb? Is that what that is all for? Okay.
Yeah. So I go through, let me see if I can, let me just make sure I don't want to.
Because in my mind, I'm like, it's just a video software where you video something and then send a link. But is it like different than that, or is it like more?
No, that's pretty much it. And so the idea is that, again, when I go through, I just want to pull this up just to make sure there's nothing like.
Are there any that
sensitive
do
or
the
whatever.
audio from the video right in the email, or do you always have to link through to another video?
Oh, yeah. So that's interesting. So you can change the hyperlink on, because all you're doing here, let me show you this really quick here. Yeah, this is cool. Let me share my screen here. So here's my BombBomb right here. And by the way, here's the 4,000 videos that we've created. So I'm a little bit of a geek on this. So when you are in your BombBomb, so and again, I'm demonstrating obviously how BombBomb does this, but then what I'm going to click on share video. I click copy for email, and what it will do is it'll copy the image, and that the image will be hyperlinked. Basically, when you click this, you can then go into your email, hit Control V, and it'll paste the animated GIF in the video of you kind of, doing one of these numbers. So it looks like, let's see if I go, I don't think if I click edit, you can, so a couple other things you can do. If you want to manually, here's another little hack. I don't think I explained this. So this right here, you can copy this image. So I can save this image to my desktop, and then I can put this in any email. I can put, it's an image. So I can put it on any web page, wherever I want it to go, and I can hyperlink it to go anywhere I want. So there are occasions where I'll put, this animated GIF, and then I will hyperlink it not to BombBomb's video player page, because what happens is if that's the case, now you can personalize it. And because we create, we share our a BombBomb and we do some client work in here, I have to miss out on some of the branding here. But if I copy link right here, and then I go, and this is what the guest will see right here. So it's great because it's clean. Hey, Lily. So, but there's nothing else on here. So I have changed. Sometimes I've changed that link where, let's say I want it to go to our sales page, for example, and so I will manually change the link on there to go to this page. Like I might do an animated version of something on here. Like I've done that. So that's another little hack that you can do. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And please do watch my full BombBomb tutorial video click on the our favorite sales tools. And I go through all of that stuff. Okay. So anything else on either video, email, or automation type stuff? Because I'm going to get to some other things here in a moment that I might get into, especially as we now start talking about sales stages and sales cadences, because this is a really important concept to master, stages and cadences. And then we'll talk about where I delegate and how I delegate. Anything else? I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay. Stages and cadences, real quick. Sales stage, what's the last major thing that's happened? Did I have podcasters recorded, had a discovery call? And so in our case, what I do is our stages are podcast done. Okay. Sales cadence and stages. Stages are last major thing done. Cadence is what are you going to do in that stage? Okay. And I've got more videos that'll explain this concept again in the members area. Okay. But so again, podcast done, call done, but there was no agreement given, because I'm going to communicate that to them differently than I did a call with them, and I'm going to send them an agreement. Because if I'm sending them an agreement, that means they gave me a buying signal. So I'm going to communicate a little bit more assumptively to that audience than if we're not quite ready for an agreement just yet, like we need another call or something like that. Now, in those cadences, now what you want is if it is agreement issued, then you've got maybe 30 days of what is it that you are going to do in terms of that relationship. Because what you don't want to do is just start collecting a list of people that you've sent agreements to, and then look at that list every day and go, well, yeah, I should probably touch base with that person, see how things are going. Like, you don't want to do that. Everything needs, if they're on day 7, then you should be doing day 7 activity with them. So here's where I delegate a lot of this out, right? I do very, very little once I've issued the agreement. I do very, very little. My team is running pretty much all of this. They're using virtual, Josh. I've written 4 emails, an SMS, very condensed SMS version of that, right? And very similar DM version of that, of each of those 4 emails, right? And so those need to get delivered. Now, short of fully automating that stuff, which I don't recommend, simply because you can get a sales assistant to help out with this and it's pretty economical. But the main thing you want to do is you want to make sure that everything you send just feels personal. It sounds personal. It looks like you. It sounds like you. But I have pre-written most of that. Now, there's also going to be cases where if they respond to anything, if it's really simple, I'll have Jenny on my team, who runs most of our cadence items, except for one, which I'll get to in a moment. She will alert me if it's something really simple and she's seen me respond to it 1,000 times. She'll just respond as me. Now, Jenny happens to be my wife who helps me out, so she knows me pretty well. Getting on 26 years at the end of this month. So she'll write as me, but a lot of times what she'll do is I keep a Slack channel that she lets me know the names of the people that I need to go and look at that communication, because I need to step in and respond. Now, in some cases, if it's a short answer, I'll just go ahead and type it out. If the answer is going to be more than, say, like 3-4 sentences, they are getting a bomb. And the reason why is because it's much faster for me. So I'll respond back with a bomb to that person, answering their question, moving the relationship along. Okay, so now, so on day 1, Elisa sends the original bomb. On day 2, Jenny sends an SMS version of that bomb. She delivers it via SMS to them. Day 3, she sends it to their DM on LinkedIn. Day 4 is kind of a pause day, and these are work days, by the way. Day 4, Jenny will go and engage in a personal way that Phantom Buster can't do in terms of responding or resharing or retweeting or something like that. Because what you want to be careful of is you don't want to have this standard great job thumbs up emoji if someone happens to tweet about a bad news or something like that. That would be horrible. So like that's my nightmare of automation gone awry. So that's why we only do very safe things automated when it comes to social media. Otherwise, I'm going to have Jenny do that. And so what she'll just do is she'll go through the list of people that are on day 4, and every day, all the day 4 people get some love on the socials, right? And now day 5, again, weekday, this I delegate to Marie on my team. So Marie is in the Philippines. Marie has been in telephone sales for 20 years. Marie is a little more seasoned. Marie represents our brand. She's got great energy. She represents our brand really well. And I write out the exact script that Marie uses, including getting to a ... how are you doing? Great, right? And you know, just I always tell her to be really sensitive. If someone sounds like they're really annoyed that you call them, man, honor that. Do not turn that into a net negative, right? And so just say, listen, I can tell you're busy. I'm just going to shoot you this information via video or via Josh is going to, I'm going to message Josh right now. Josh is going to email you in just a few moments. I'll let him know that we said hi real quick. But otherwise, I've got a phone script with a yes, no, either or, A, B, you know, always A, B, right? So for example, if you're going to set an appointment, one thing I used to do, and I don't do this very often, or I do either or, right? When you're scheduling with a guest, right? And you always want to get that next appointment. So you're trying to book for that next appointment. What I used to do is it's just, here's my schedule link, pick anytime you want, thinking, well, that's going to be most convenient for them. What I found is that that's not as effective. Jeff, you're kind of smiling there. What should you be doing? Hey, Rich, you popped on your video. How are you? All right, Jeff, what did I do wrong there? I already kind of teased it out a little bit.
Well, if you're having a conversation with somebody, the next action step is what you need to define before you get off the phone. So let's meet. Let's set it up now as opposed to delaying it.
That is the best answer. That's the best answer, not the answer. That's not the second, the answer I was thinking of. I'm so glad that you said that. Okay. So let me go back, right? Anytime I'm on a meeting, I'm always trying to book that. So absolutely 100% podcast is done. I'm going to say, hey, that was really great. This is going to go live in 6 to 8 weeks. Listen, what does your schedule look like? Today's Wednesday. I skip Wednesday or I skip Thursday. And I say, what does your schedule look like Friday or Monday? On Friday, I've got a 2 p.m. or on Monday, I've got, a 3:30. Would either of those work for you? So what did I just do? What did I just do right there? Instead of saying, hey, when do you want to meet? I gave them a what?
You gave them two choices from your
Yes.
account. Which one's going to work for them?
Yeah, I gave them an A-B, what's called an A-B close. An A-B close is different. What you don't want is so do you want to meet with me or not? Right? Because if you say, hey, let's talk next week, when's it good? When you leave it more vague, it's more friction for them. It's more work for them. It's kind of like you want to get it from, it's make it really easy and flowy for them. So yeah, give an A-B close, which means you give them 2 times, right? And so what I do in email now, when if I didn't get the next meeting, because sometimes, and I'll admit, I'm sometimes like if I have the agreement call, sometimes I'm able to book the onboarding call, the 1 hour onboarding call. Most of the time, I'm not quite at that comfort level where I sometimes, if they're really hot, I'm just going to schedule it right there. If they're not, then, I'll try to coordinate, but it gets really hard when you do that. I think, Jeff, what I'm probably, to your point, I'm going to try and push for that, at least try it. Because the worst thing they could say is, well, no, I need a little bit more time. Cool. So another way you could do this, and here's how I'm going to kind of softly start doing this a little bit better, is I say, well, listen, just because my schedule's pretty maxed out, let's put something on the books. If we need to bump it, if we need to reschedule, no problem. But if I don't put this in, guarantee it'll get filled up with other stuff. And again, if we need to kick it late down the road or whatever, that's totally cool, right? So, but tentatively, how about Wednesday at 2 p.m.? Would that work for you? Or would Thursday at 11 a.m. work better for you? So I gave them an A-B close. I also let them know, I'm going to let them off the hook because I am kind of asking, this is kind of a close here. Well, it's not a close, it's a close. So I want to soften it a little bit, like, hey, if we need to bump, it's totally cool, right? So, but that's probably what I'm going to start. I need to start doing that more because if you start getting to this cat and mouse game, it's just so much harder than if you just schedule them right there and then on the spot. Okay.
It's not
Now,
even just,
go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, folks, it's not just even getting a next appointment. You should always end the call with what's the next action step that each one of you are doing. and you gain commitment on what the next step is to move that cell along. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a Zoom call, or somebody has to do something or answer a question. So these are my 3 things I need to get back with you on. Correct, did I miss anything? So next action steps.
Yeah, terrific.
All right, Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on that. So again, in terms of what I've delegated, so Jenny's not, and you always, again, you want to play to the strengths of your people, right? So Jenny would not be good for phone. Marie, that's what she does. Like, she's awesome at that. So I don't mind splitting that off a little bit. Again, as long as people, I also keep notes in our CRM, and I make sure that my team, is aware. They always check the notes before they do any communicating, just so they refresh their memory. Because again, when you've got 20 some people in the queue, it's, it's hard to remember. I'm bad sometimes. Like, when you have that many people you're engaging with, it can be really hard to just remember facts and figures and names and stuff like that. Oh, what did we talk about? Who is that person? Oh, you have to refer to your notes. So, yeah, Catherine.
You had, you said day 4 was love on them with social. Day 5, Marie calls and does the AB. What was day 1 through 3? Was day 1 the bomb and then
bomb via video, via email.
Okay.
Then on the SMS, and in fact, I think I may have this listed out. Let me go back to the members area, and I'll see if I've got this handy here. I think I do, where I've got our cadence. Let me just look here. List for your guest learning lines, sales tools. Attracting guests, how to sell to your guests. It might be that one. Yeah, no, I'll find that, and I'll make sure I message that. I know I've got it listed somewhere.
Okay. So bomb, SMS, and then what's after SMS?
Yeah. So now on the SMS, with SMS, you can't, I don't think you can embed. Well, you might be able to, but usually what I do is I put the bomb URL in there where the video is. So I copy the URL. It's a much shorter message. Hey, emailed you yesterday. Just want to make sure you saw that. Really excited to work together. In fact, I've been thinking a lot about our partnership opportunity. Just something like that. Have an awesome day. So excited for our next meeting.
Okay, cool.
And then I include a link here, and then I say recorded a video message for you. Click here to watch. And then it's got the bomb link. They click, bam, they can watch it right out of their SMS. And day 3 is I send that pretty much that same message via DM in LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And then of course, once Marie calls on day 5, Marie's job is to, if they don't have an onboarding schedule, her job is to get them on the schedule, is to get that call booked. But again, as we were talking about earlier, I really need to bear the weight of trying to get that booked while I'm on the call. Now, sometimes you'll have something booked and someone will cancel, right? And so that would be a case where Marie would step in, call, try to get that rebooked. Now, every message I'm sending as well, I'm trying to say, here's my next availability. Which of these would work? Trying to always get them back on the schedule, because the calls are really where, the relationship and the sale is going to move forward. So it's always about getting the next meeting. All right. I think that is, let me ask, was there anything that you were expecting that I was going to talk about and I didn't talk about yet? I say yet because I can talk about that in the 8-9 minutes that we have left. Because I always want to make sure that you feel satiated, like you got value from our time together.
Josh, I have a question.
Yes.
And I'm happy to take it offline or in another meeting if it's not appropriate here. But with regard to automation and delegation, and I know that I feel like you do this really well. I am really good at getting people to say, yes, let's do that together. And then they ask the death toll question that's like, can you send me a proposal? And my wife laughs. She's like, why is this the place where you just like die and roll over and lose business? But I literally hate sending proposals. If there were a way I could figure out how to delegate or automate that,
Totally.
I would, but it has been like the number one constraint in my business.
Yes, great question. That's one thing I actually skipped over. I didn't. Elisa has a proposal template, right? Or maybe you might have like 3-5 variations of it or something like that. It's all ready to go. We use an online platform, right, where all they have to do is click a green button. So if I go, I don't know if I can share that, but we use Better Proposals? .io. Is that what we use? Sorry, hang on a second. No, it's not. That's not what we use. No, we use crap. I can't remember it right now. So I don't think that I've done a video about it. It's not too complicated, but Elisa is the one that gets that all kind of bundled up, make sure if there's any variations, which are very rare, that she'll make those tweaks in there. And this is one thing that I did is I started adding and I embed, which I think it's a great idea. But sometimes when you send we send proposals that night. When I get off the phone with someone and I'm like, well, great, listen, I'm going to say, and I don't call it a proposal. I call it a plan of action agreement, right? Or just like a plan of action. I'll send you the notes. If you like it, you just click the green button and then we're good to go. Right. So what you don't want to say is like, I'm going to send you a contract. Well, unless you use this as a filter, which may be appropriate, right? Otherwise, to kind of weed out the non-serious people, what I do is say, listen, I'm going to throw some notes together. It's plan of action agreement or whatever. If you like it, just click the green button. We're good to go. Right. So I don't want to treat it like it's a big deal. And in fact, what I did is here's what I don't want people to do. And this is what you don't want the proposal to be way too much friction where they look at it and they go, holy Toledo, I got to read this whole thing before man, because people don't want to sign proposals. People don't want to give you money. People want the value of the service or the product or whatever that you're going to give them. So you got to keep their eyes on the horizon. So everything's, you could just click the green button or whatever. Then we can really get to the fun part, right? And the fun part is blah, 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 blah. Right. So you just like, you could just like treat it like it's nothing. Right. And in fact, I embedded a video in every proposal that goes out. And Quoters. That's the one we use. And I only found it because I got it on AppSumo and we love it because I needed one that integrated with Zapier. So what happens is every person, I think that moves to a certain state, when it moves to a certain stage in our CRM through Zapier, creates that person in Quoters. Quoters.io is the one that we use, right? So then that's wonderful for Elisa because then all she has to do is find the person, click, add the agreement to that person, and now she has a link that she can share. And in there, again, I've got a video where I say, hey, just a quick little video here. I'm just going to step through the agreement. It's really simple, basically. And then, so it's kind of funny. I was just watching like Impractical Jokers with my 15-year-old, his favorite show. And like one of the dares that they had to do is get people to agree to just ridiculous things. And so, but it's fascinating that if you share it with enough confidence and like, this is all pretty standard stuff or whatever, they are getting people to agree to this just ridiculous stuff in this legal agreement. And, but again, that's kind of the idea is just, this is what everybody does. It's totally normal because people also, one sensitivity that everyone has is they don't want to make a mistake. And so therefore they trust the wisdom of crowds. And then so they're kind of looking for your cues to know what most people do. If you say something like, so I'm going to give you a contract and in 30 days, blah, 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 guess what's going to happen to your sales cycle? Guaranteed that thing just go 30 days. What the heck? So if you say, so as soon as you get this, just give it a once over, whatever. If it all looks good, click the green button. And then what I'll do is I'll give you and then we can really get to the fun part and so forth. So does that answer your question? Oh, and again, Elisa takes care of that. Elisa writes up or makes the agreement and we add in our CRM, which we use Go High Level, right? We created a custom field. And I think standard, we do this for you as well. It's already in there. If you wanted to use Go High Level as your CRM, it's free, it's included. We got it. But we created a value, a custom value for their URL of their agreement and the URL of their payment link. Payment link we do in QuickBooks. And so we create a custom payment link that goes in as a custom value. Now, every communication that goes out to each of our customers has a variable for, and by the way, here's your agreement and here's your payment link whenever you're ready to go, right? And so that will automatically get replaced with the variable that we filled in for that field. And sorry if this is going to be a, whoa, Josh, sorry. Like I could probably record like a little video that we'll talk about how we do that. But does that answer the question? Is that helpful?
Absolutely.
I got 2 minutes left.
Josh, can I just add one thing there? So better proposals is another option too. And these proposal softwares, what's cool about them is if you have a more complex offering, you can have blocks. And so you can drag and drop the blocks. So they're pre-made. And so even if there's a lot of variation in what you do, you just drag in the right ones and you're done in minutes. Makes it a
I
lot
like
easier.
that. And you said better proposals?
Yes, I don't know if KARTRA does the same, but there are other tools that does that.
Yeah,
too.
there are tons
Better
of
proposals
agreement
was
tools
open
out
appeal
there.
not too much. I missed it. I kicked myself for that. But there are other
I know. Yeah.
I just had to stop looking at AppSumo. It's like
I know. It is. What else did I
AppSumo
miss?
junkie. Yeah.
Oh, well, yes. And then there were times when, we just buy a bunch of crap that is like, maybe we'll use it. Maybe. But we've got great sales stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you use Go High Level or not, but if you don't, there are a few other CRMs that have proposal software built into, and even invoicing built into.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's terrific. Anything else? 1 minute left. And I have a podcast interview I have to jump on, so that's why I have a hard stop. Well, thank you, everybody. Please, if you aren't scheduling a monthly check-in call with myself or your account manager and so forth, please do that. I want to review individual activity, lead flow, lead quality, that sort of stuff. Everything's fixable in sales. But, especially if there are things that we know about, we can absolutely address and jump on those things. So listen, I really appreciate you. Ping me anytime you want on the Slack, and, very grateful for the great work that we get to do. And I apologize. Oh, Panda Doc. And by the way, there's some other notes. I think that before we leave, there's a button that you can link or you can save chat. Yeah, click on the 3 buttons to the very right, and you can click save chat if you want those notes saved. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. And you better do that. You got 10 seconds before I got to close. So thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Josh, can you take a quick look at our Slack quickly before the meeting, please?
Who is it that said that?
Roman, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I will.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thanks, brother. All right. Take care.
Bye.